Right now, Senator Natasha Uduaghan has won this battle finally. She has won the long-standing battle to resume her legislative duties in the Senate House. Of course, we know that she has been battling a lot of challenges in recent time with Senator Godswill Akpabio, the Senate President, over sexual harassment she claimed allegedly. But right now, it is as if smile have restored in her face following the support from the Senate House, support from the Nigerian Bar Association. So right now, she is happy. So after months of political tension, legal battle, and controversial suspension, her voice will now be heard once again in the red chambers. The victory marks a significant moment not only for Natasha but for democracy as a whole. Her resilience and refusal to go back or go down have inspired many Nigerians, especially women in politics. She is a role model right now. Many people are jubilating, clapping for her to have stood firm on her stance and say no to what? Victimization, intimidation, and barbaric acts by some so-called gladiators and what? Political actors in Nigeria. She is a great woman, of course. So the Senate President Godswill Akpabio has been at the center of resistance against her return, a move many saw as politically motivated. Despite the odds, Natasha remained what? Firm. Despite the odds, she remained firm, yes. Taking legal and constitutional steps to challenge what she described as a what? Targeted attempt to silence her and her voice. She even told World Women Organization that day, which I showed you on here on this what? Media. Success media here. So because we know everything happening around this very case, we have been following the case up and we have been showing you everything happening around this very case. So if you have never subscribed, kindly subscribe to this very channel to hear and know what has been happening and what is happening. And every game that is changing in Nigeria, everything, every political move from anywhere, information you need to hear, this is the right channel for you. Of course. So her supporters across Kogi State and beyond continue to demand justice, fairness, and reinstatement, which is actually happening. So this development now has also sparked controversies about internal democracy, transparency, and the independence of lawmakers within the Senate, as if the Senate is a woven that it is run like a secret court. Right now, they want to expose everything and let everything happening in the Senate be a transparent one. So many civil society groups had earlier condemned her suspension, calling it what? Undemocratic and unconstitutional. Her return signifies the triumph of the rule of what? Law over political what? Intimidation. Yes. It also shows that political power cannot suppress the will of the people indefinitely. Of course, this is what is happening. Of course. So her presence in the Senate once again means better representation for her people, for her constituents, because she is the voice her people really what need in the Senate House, and the voice Nigerians really need all over what? Representations, not a silence or dullard what? Representatives. So the political environment around her return is charged with renewed energy and solidarity. People are happy, jubilating all over the places. Natasha has stated she is returning with more determination to fight for justice, equity, and development. She also thanked the judiciary, her supporters, and fellow senators who stood by her. Political analysts believe her victory could redefine gender dynamics and what? Accountability in the Senate. Yes. So her case has become a symbol of what? Perseverance in the face of systemic resistance. So the next steps would determine how smoothly she reintegrates into the Senate, because right now everything will change, and all these people that are not happy with her will like to what? Adjust and do some certain gragra. Normally they will do it. So the next step now would what determine her what smooth reintegration and other what things that we follow up what with the proceedings. So nonetheless, today Senator Natasha can smile, knowing justice has what prevailed. So now let us go into the details and show you some things that surrounds her what return and what the Nigerian Bar Association said over this. So stay tuned and what make sure you subscribe to this very channel for more news what and updates right now. So this is what Nigerian Bar Association mandated. The Nigerian Bar Association has urged the Senate to allow suspended Kogi Central Senator Natasha Uduaghan to resume her duties now that her suspension period has what ended. Speaking on Wednesday, NBA President Afam Osigwe San emphasized that despite ongoing legal proceedings, Uduaghan should be reinstated, insisting that the pendency of the suit should not prevent her return. First, the suspension was for 6 months, challenging the correctness of that what decision in court. It is separate from the expiration of the suspension period. If the suspension has ended, she can return, regardless of whether the Senate was right or wrong in suspending her. The Senate cannot use the pending appeal to deprive her of the seat once the actual suspension has ended. Once the actual suspension has ended, that is not a position for the Senate to adopt. So the Senate should act honorably and what allow her to resume so that her constituents are not left unrepresented while the court determines whether the Senate was justified in suspending her. The lapse of 6 months should allow her to return, Osigwe said. Natasha was suspended on March 6, 2025 following violating Senate rules by not vacating her assigned seat during sessions, which led to the loss of her salary and privileges. Federal High Court and appealing the judgment from Justice Binta Inyako. She prepared to return. However, a letter from Dr. Yahaya Danzaria, acting clerk to the National Assembly, indicated that her suspension would remain until the Court of Appeal rules on her case, but Osigwe-san maintained that even though the matter is before the court, Uduaghan should be allowed to return to the Senate since her suspension period has elapsed. That is what he said, and that is final. Yes, very, very well. That is final. So the voice that are meant to silence her can no longer silence her again. She's happy now returning to the Senate House. Kudos to Natasha Uduaghan. Yes. Because it's like just this. Some of these senators do not want right voices to challenge them. Senate House is for everyone. No one is more Nigerian than others. It is owned by Nigerians, not them. So they can't determine what is happening in the Senate. They were all elected the way she was elected by her own constituents. So what is happening? Thank you, NBA. Thank you, Nigerians. Those that has been fighting this. I've been fighting this very, very battle for a long time, both spiritually and physically. Challenging the voices. You can't act as if Nigeria belongs to you. That is wrong. And that is what is actually happening, killing our democracy here. How can you be happy that our people have remained unrepresented for 6 months and you still want to silence her? What democracy are we practicing in Nigeria? So sad. So we are watching closely too. If you have never subscribed to this very channel, please kindly subscribe because we have much updates, more updates to show you on this Natasha Uduaghan case and everything that will be happening in the Senate, because the battle will continue in the Senate. Akpabio will not rest, neither Natasha will rest. So it will continue there. So every update happening there, we must show you on this very channel, Success Media. So kindly subscribe to this very channel for many more. Thank you so much and do have a lovely day ahead.